Welcome to Wisconsin in Focus. I'm Benjamin Yount, the Wisconsin correspondent, and usually I'd be joined by Dan McCaleb, our managing editor. I imagine he, like most Bears fans, though, are hiding in shame after another dismal performance, so we'll check in with Dan next week. We're recording this episode on Thursday, September 21st in the year 2023. We are almost done with September, almost ready for spooky season. Cannot wait. We're planning a whole big thing. Not quite full-size candy bars, but we'll make up for it. Tell you about that once it happens. The biggest story in the state of Wisconsin this week came from, the Milwaukee Brewers ballpark. Assembly Republicans on Monday announced a plan that will spend $600 million in taxpayer money on upgrades at the ballpark and will keep the team in Milwaukee till 2050. This is the continuation of the conversation that we've had for months here in Wisconsin as to just what the state and local taxpayers will do to pay to upgrade American Family Field. The $600 million price tag is the largest that has ever been proposed. It would include money from the state, primarily earmarked from the income taxes that Milwaukee Brewers ball players as well as visiting ball players pay to the state, as well as a couple of $100 million from the city of Milwaukee and the county of Milwaukee, and $100 million from the Brewers, the team itself. As you would expect, the reaction to this was less than stellar. An awful lot of people in Wisconsin don't believe that taxpayers should be on the hook for a billion-dollar ballpark that's owned by a billion-dollar ball club where million-dollar ball players play a game. Democrats at the Wisconsin Capitol met with Brewer officials and said they want more money from the team and less money from Milwaukee and Milwaukee County. The sticking point here is, and we made this point in one of the stories that we wrote over at the Center Square this week, is that this is not a ball stadium that is owned by the team. This is not a situation of a team holding a gun to the head of Milwaukee and saying, well, if you don't buy us a new stadium, then I guess maybe Salt Lake City looks good. When the state of Wisconsin signed up in 1996 to help replace the old Milwaukee County Stadium, they created this quasi-governmental agency, the Southeast Wisconsin Professional Baseball Park District, otherwise known as the district. That is an entity of the state, and that is the entity that actually owns American Family Field. As Rick Schlesinger, the president of baseball ops for the Milwaukee Brewers, told the Center Square, taxpayers are on the hook whether the Brewers are playing ball at AmFam Field or not, and so it makes sense to support the stadium because that's going to help keep the team in town.
I've heard some people say this is, sort of a bailout or this is a subsidy to a rich owner. I would say this: the money is not going to the Milwaukee Brewers Baseball Club. It's going from one or more governmental entities to a creature of the state government, i.e. the stadium district. All we're asking is for the obligations of the district that were made to the public and made to the fans in 1996 be honored. Nothing more, nothing less. So we're not asking to enlarge the scope of the obligations of the stadium district. We're not looking to reduce our obligations. In fact, we're putting $100 million more into this equation than our lease requires us to do. All we're asking is for the state to make sure its own entity has sufficient funds to meet its obligations that were promised to us in 1996.
That is not a popular answer. A lot of people in Wisconsin spent many times on Facebook or Twitter or other social media or even talk radio shaking their fist and being frustrated. But the fact of the matter, and it's a difficult fact to swallow, is that if people in Wisconsin wanted to object to the idea of using public dollars to pay for a private ballpark, they should have done that in 1996. Now, of course, as with everything at the Wisconsin Capitol, because there's not bipartisan buy-in and not universal agreement, nothing is a done deal until it is a done deal. But the Republican leaders at the Capitol believe they have the support, the vote, and the financial structure to make this happen. Still, we'll have to wait and see. We'll, of course, write more about this and all manners of other things over at the Center Square. You can find it there at Wisconsin. Thank you for listening. I'm Benjamin Yount. Please don't forget to subscribe.